Thank you, Deacon. I appreciate you joining us today so we can learn a little bit about your history and your faith formation. And I'd like to start by asking, tell us about your early childhood and faith and parish life.
Okay. I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana on March the 3rd, 1922. It was a segregated city. I guess everyone knows that. And so as I grew up in not Holy Ghost Parish. I remember we didn't live too far from the parish. And the priest used to visit us quite often. But I was when I was baptized there at First Communion. We used to call it the solemn communion. We had that confirmed, and I also was married at Holy Ghost Church. And growing up, we didn't have many places you could go to for entertainment. So most of our activity was close to the church, was around the church. I was an altar boy. So that I was old enough to be one. I was also boy, and I lived close to the parish. So the priest always could come by and pick me up, get me if we needed a altar boy for anything at all. He'd come by and get me, and I'll go and do my duty as an altar service. But growing up in Louisiana, it was not easy. We were very aware of all the different restrictions and stuff they had for African American. We were aware of that, and our parents would always remind us of that. So we were very careful when we went out and growing up and doing things, trying to stay out of trouble. As far as I know, none of my friends and things did get into any trouble. But it wasn't easy. We had to think about it and really be aware of it at all times. But we did a lot of things at the church. We had our games, basketball games, baseball games, things like that were done on the school ground at the church. Going as teenagers, once a month, we had a little hop, as we call it, a jukebox, and a little dance section on a Sunday evening. And we'd go out, and we always dressed up, always had a tie and coat on and everything. And in that hot weather, we'd go to the dance, and the driest thing on you be your tongue, man. But we wore, try to look our best at all times.
Was your parish mixed, or was it primarily African American?
No, it was all African American. Well, it wasn't mixed at all. All that. You didn't have any mixed parishes there that I know of. We could visit the other parishes, but if we did, you only had like maybe 2 seats in the back. That was for the African Americans. Although a lot of us working in the other folks' home, you still only had 2 seats. And if you went to communion, everybody else went. The priest, if there was other Caucasian or something at the altar rail, because that's when you kneel at the altar rail, priest would pass you up, go give communion to them first, then you were the last one to get it. Yeah.
Different times, I see.
Yeah.
So what brought you to California, and how did you become a part of St. Bernadette Parish?
What brought me to California was when the war started out, when we was attacked in 1941, December the 7th, 1941. After that, I wanted to join the service. No, and my mother had passed away in January of 1941. And I was not 21 yet, so my dad would have to sign for me to go to the military. And he didn't want to sign. He said, no, I just lost your mother. I don't want to lose you. So he didn't sign it. But then later on, in that year, 42, I did get a draft notice. And after I got the draft notice, I went to the Navy. Well, he didn't have to sign after I got a draft notice. So I joined the Navy in 1942, and it was around October. And I came home. I had met a young lady by the name of Anona LaBeouf, right after my mother passed away in January. I happened to meet her through my best friend. His name was Joseph Lapierre. He and I we were just good, but we'd known each other from kindergarten, and we ran together. We did everything together. Everybody used to think we were brothers. We joined the Navy together and did everything together. And it was the young lady he was start dating. I know there was a cousin, and she asked him to introduce her to someone. And he introduced me to her. So, that was in the beginning, around the beginning of 1941, right after my mother passed away. And I entered the Navy, and while I was then, I decided, I had made a decision that I wasn't going to get married from just to take care of my mother. But after she passed away, I decided that, well, I'm going to have to live my life for the fullest. And I came home on leave out of the Navy in 1943, in November. And Nona was there. She was still there waiting for me. So we decided to get married. Never made any future plans, but while I was there, we decided to get married. So we had a very short time to do anything. We didn't have to do anything. We had to do anything right away. And so we were married on November the 16th at an 8 o'clock mass, regular 8 o'clock mass. My good buddy was with me. But I had written, and I got an extension on my leave. I got a 5-day extension. He didn't get one on his. So we had the service at the regular 8 o'clock mass on a Tuesday morning. And we had to leave right from church and take him to the roundabout train, to the train station so he could get back on time. But I was stationed at the Navy shipyard in Vallejo, California. And when I went back, well, that was in November, but it was in January of 44 that I found a place for no, I could have my wife, so she came in. So she came to California. That's how we became California. While we was up in Northern California, she had some relatives here in Southern California. They moved, so I had left Louisiana and came to Southern California. So we came down a couple of times, visited in Los Angeles. And then this was in 1945, she became pregnant. My dad was still in Louisiana, and he passed away, and that was in May of 1945. So I came to his funeral, and my wife couldn't travel with me because she was pregnant, and she had a miscarriage. They didn't want her to travel. But anyway, when I got back from the funeral, I was told, don't need to unpack, you're being shipped out. So I was being shipped out of California. And my wife decided, we had talked it over and said, you know, when I got out of the Navy, I asked her, would you like to come back, go back and live in Louisiana? She said, no. I said, no. I said, we have nothing. We have to start from nothing. Even or came back to Louisiana, went back to North, we have to start with nothing. So I said, I may as well stay. So we decided to stay in California. That's how we came to California. We stayed there. And I've been happy ever since. Now, uh, we came here in California. I had after I came here, we stayed with one of her relatives for a year or two. And then I finally got a veterans uh, apartment out in the valley.
So you had moved to Los Angeles by this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was shipped out of Vallejo, my wife, Anona, decided that she was going to come down here to stay with one of her relatives down in Los Angeles. That's how we came to Los Angeles. We ended up in Los Angeles. So she did. And then she had a girl here, a girl born in September that year here in Los Angeles. And I got out of the Navy that same year, that December, just before Christmas. I was able to get a discharge because of her having a baby. I was able to get discharged
And come back home.
and come back home, yes.
So when did you join St. Bernadette Parish?
When I joined St. Bernadette Parish, that was around 4 years. We spent, let's see, 50, it must have been in something around. When did I join St. Bernadette Parish?
Mm-hmm.
I joined St. Bernadette Parish in 72. That's when I moved into the area.
Oh, okay, yes, because you said you were living in the valley
We
first.
had been living in the valley, and when that closes, we moved in. We were renting some place. We had several places. We was in Holy Name Parish for several years. Then we was in Nativity Parish. Then we was in St. John Evangelist Parish. Then we ended up here in St. Bernadette. That was in September of 1972 that we moved. We became members of St. Bernadette. And I've been a member ever since. When I came here, first Sunday I came to church. I'm at I think Father Shelton.
Father Shelton.
Yeah, he was an associate here. And I came up to him and I told him that I'm a new member of the parish. You know, would like to be a part of the parish. He said, fine, you can start counting money. There's no me or anything. So
Put you to work.
He made me a money counter right away at St. Bernadette. So that was my beginning to get involved in St. Bernadette.
And Deacon, now I want to switch and I want to ask you, how did you hear God's call to become a deacon?
A couple of my friends who received the call that they became deacons in the classes ahead of me. And I was wondering about that, you know. And I said, oh, I'm not fit. I can't. I'm not fit to be a deacon. And they kept, some of them said, oh, yeah, we're going to make you a deacon. Then go. And then let's see, we started in 1977. It was in 1976, around September, somewhere around that time. We had our pastor, our associate, Father Bunny Haney. You remember him?
No, I don't remember him.
Okay.
I remember Father Gorman. That's the earliest
That's
pastor.
right. This was before Father Goldman.
Mm-hmm.
our pastor at that time was Father Adrian Day. And Father Lehaney was his assistant. And I had been with Father Lehaney because we had started the Marriage Encounter.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
the Marriage Encounter.
Yes, I have.
Weekend. So we've been a couple of weekends with Father Lehaney. So we were part of that particular group, of, the Marriage Encounter group. And anyway, he called me and said, Emile, I need to talk to you. I said, okay, I said, what do I do now? He said, no, he said, we got a call to recommend someone to become a deacon. And you're the first one that came to my mind. And he said, that's Father Day, our pastor, about it. And he said, that's a good choice. I said, I don't know about that.
So you were hesitant at first?
I was hesitant about it. I don't know about that. Okay. So I mentioned that to my wife. I talked to her about it. And then I called my kids and I talked to them about it. And all of them said, she'll call and go for it, Dad. I thought they would say no. You know. They said, no, go for it. So I said, okay, I'll give it a try. So that's how I became.
That's how you got called.
That's how I got called.
So what was your formation period like? So you were probably in your 50s at this time.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was your formation period like when you were forming into a deacon?
Well, we had classes twice a week. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we had classes downtown at the Chancery office. And okay, I was active with the Knights of Peter Flavor, Knights of Columbus. I was part of both groups. I was quite active with those. I was also handling the lectures.
Oh, the lector ministry.
Lectures here. I was in charge of the lectures here. So I gave all that up. I told Maya to give all this up because I'm going into if he can, it's going to take a lot of my time for me studying to become a teacher.
And
So I used to spend most of my time there going through my books and stuff to become a teacher.
what do you remember about the day of your ordination?
The day of my ordination, that was quite a day. I remember because I had a fourth degree Knights of Peter Claver was part of the ceremony. And I had a hard time. I'm being a member of the Knights of Peter Claver. I was a fourth degree member. We had a couple of other members in our group because we had like 4 African Americans who was being ordained at that particular time.
What does it mean to be a fourth degree member?
Well, the fourth degree members, they are the one that you see with the sword.
Oh, okay.
That they are special. I said, I'm going to go for the hierarchy, the bishop, and all those. And I call it the fourth degree member. If you just join, you're considered a third degree member, and you have to ask to become a fourth degree and be initiated and get all the garments and everything that goes with it. So I was part of that group for a long time. And I found out that they were inviting the Knights of Columbus to be part of the sort of honor guard at the ceremony. So I went to our leader, Monsignor Healy, and asked him, could the Knights of Peter Claver attend? And so he said, he had to talk to the cardinal about that. And I kept on asking, so finally he said, yes, you could have about 5 of them. I think 5 or 6. So we did. And that's the only time that the Knights of Peter Flavor ever participate in an ordination.
Oh, wow. So that was a very special ordination then.
That was special. That's made it special for me, yeah. And they have never appeared, took part in any other ordination except that one, yes. So that was quite a memory for me, yes.
Tell us about your most memorable or favorite memory from your time at the parish, and why does it stand out? I didn't catch you off guard with that one.
My favorite memory, boy. Okay, well, my favorite memory from St. Bernadette would be the first wedding I did after I was ordained a teacher. It just happened that, it's Mary Gordon.
Mary Gordon?
His, his son was married. One of our parishioners from here. And Father Coleman was in charge. And he told me, okay, you do the wedding. I said, okay. But that was the first wedding I did. And the bride told me, she said, you did okay. She said, you were more nervous than I was. I said, yes, I was.
But weddings got easier over time.
Boy, it got easier over time, yeah. But and I used to work, come around in the church and put up lights and check the lights and stuff like that. And the morning, this was on a Saturday, and I was in here checking the lights and stuff like that. And they had some of the people, like, gosh, they come to check it out before the wedding party would come in.
Mm-hmm.
And they saw me as, they called me the handyman. I said, yes, I'm the handyman. I'm handy. When they wanted to bring flowers and where to put them, I would show them all of that. And then later on, they saw me come out as the minister.
They were surprised.
They were surprised, yes. Yes. And then the wife and I was invited to the reception. It was out in Beverly Hills, out in that area. That was memorable
Time. Well, thank you for sharing that. How has St. Bernadette Parish assisted with your faith formation?
It is with my faithful. It has, because I began to work with the group. I was part of the group that formed the Christian Service Group. We formed, that was about 8 of us. And we formed a Christian Service Group. I was the first leader, vice president, you may call it, of the group. And we would get calls to come out, go and feed the people who couldn't pay for the rent, couldn't pay for the gas, electricity, it was going to be turned off. And we'd have to go. So the wife and I would go and investigate, and talk with them, and see, and see how they were struggling and something. We felt good about being able to help
To
them.
help others.
Yeah.
What advice would you offer those who struggle with their faith?
Those who struggle with faith, I would say if they struggle with their faith, have any works.
Mm. If they're struggling with their faith, they don't have any works.
Well, I mean, you got to have something. You got to have something that you can work on. Yeah, yeah, yes. You have to belong to some organization. That's really going to help other people. You gotta make donation. You know, yeah. But, yeah. You can't just say you have faith. I mean, you gotta have something that you can work your faith on.
That's good advice, Deacon. I have another.
And a lot of times people would come. They see me now. Uh, they say, "Can I help you do this? Help you do that?" Especially when I go to the store and I'm bringing out groceries or something. Someone want to help me. And I really don't need the help. But I say, okay, you can help. I feel like that I'm ministering to them instead of them ministering to me. Because they can go home and say, oh, I feel good. I helped that old man. So,
Yeah, you're highlighting why it's good. It's not only important to give, but to receive, so someone else can be blessed by that too.
well, yes, well, someone else thinks they are blessing. They're blessing you, which they are. But you are also blessing them. See, that's what I mean. That's what I call works with faith. Okay, you gotta have works of it to work your faith on.
Thank you, Deacon. I will be remembering that. And I have one more piece of advice to ask you. So, what advice would you offer to people who feel faith does not matter?
But safe does not matter. But everything matters. Well, okay, what I say is that whatever you do, you'll have problems. No matter what you do, you're going to end up, you're going to have problems. And every problem has several solutions. But each solution just creates another problem. Think about it now. Each solution just creates another problem. For example, you may have a pain of something. You can take, you got a special medication you take for that pain. Okay? But that medication also creates a problem. Because you have after effect.
Yes.
So you have another problem.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So just being prepared for that.
You got to be prepared. You got to be prepared for that. Nothing ever ends up being perfect. You're always going to have some problem. And, like I said, a problem has several solutions. But each problem just creates another problem. Each solution, I'm sorry.
Each solution creates another problem.
Think about it.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're
I
right.
don't know. Okay.
Well, Deacon, before we end today, is there anything else that I haven't asked you about that you'd like to add?
No, only thing here I'd like to ask is just don't try to be someone else. Don't copy after anyone. Just go ahead. Do what you like to do what you want to do, and be yourself. Be your own self.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you giving me some time before Mass today to interview with you on this 11th day of September.
Well, I want to thank you for asking me. And I hope what I said would help.
I think it was
Okay.
very impactful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.